Hello and thank you for pressing play. Welcome to A Beer with Bear or Any Other Beverage. This is episode 66, and our guest for this week we have the Bourcy Leos. Frank Quarantin and I had the pleasure of talking to Jeremy and Chris via Zoom. This husband and wife acoustic punk rock duo project started out as just a way for them to have a date night and take a break from the kids. Now, just a few years later, they have one full-length album, one EP, and produced two compilation albums. Bridge, Volume 1 and 2, featuring a mix of talented musicians from Austin, Texas, from both the rockabilly and the punk scene, all playing acoustic. This was originally planned as a Valentine's Day episode. I needed a couple in love, so I called Jeremy, who is not only a past guest, but she's also a graphic designer. We got into the story of how they met, their past projects and side projects, most notably KLAX for Jeremy and Sober Days for Chris. They discuss the challenges of going from electric to acoustic music, which forces you to be very prepared. You can't cover up a mistake with drums and with distortion. If you mess up, everyone in that room will hear it. We talked about the music scene in Dallas, Texas. Hobbies outside of music, which you'll hear is, they have a lot of them, especially Chris. I gotta say though, it's a shame we live in different states. They are such a cool couple. I really do wish they were my neighbors. They're awesome. And I really look forward to having them back on the show again soon. Beer with Bear is available where podcasts are heard. iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic, to name a few, Libsyn, and SoundCloud.com. If you like what you hear, please be sure to tell a friend. If not, tell someone you hate. Ruin their lives. You can support the show as well as artists who come on by hitting subscribe, leaving a rating, and writing something nice in the comment section. It only takes a minute, and it really helps us out in the rankings. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram under Beer with Bear Pod, and Twitter at Beer with Bear. There you'll find pictures, updates for upcoming episodes, as well as the best way to contact us. Say you're an artist, or maybe just a listener who has a question for us. Don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you. Theme music by Chris Helking. Graphic design by Jeremy Fletcher. Mixing and post-production by Ryan Miles. Thank you very much and enjoy. We're here with the, correct me if I got this right or wrong, the Bourcy Leos, Jeremy and Chris.
You got it.
What up?
From Dallas?
So this is...
From Dallas, Texas. Yeah!
So I'm surprised to see you guys are outside, because anytime I look at the news, it says it's freezing out there.
Well,
I guess that storm is over with in your part?
Texas, man.
Yeah, that's the thing is whenever it is nice weather, you have to go outside as soon as possible because it could be super duper hot. Your skin will melt off, or it's gonna freeze again, and you'll freeze to death. You gotta take advantage of when it's really nice out.
How bad was the cold?
It was pretty brutal, but it's been worse.
We've had worse. Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was like
28.
Yeah, like 25,
something like
28.
that. But we've had it get in the negatives here, and. Yeah.
And nobody's prepared for that. Power goes out and it's madness. Nobody's got anything. Yeah, it does hurt. Nobody's got any kind of backups or anything.
I noticed you guys seem to be pretty on top of things this far. Do you have like a generator and stuff? Because I noticed that Chris is he's a builder. He likes to build things, and I figured you guys would be ready for something like that.
We're definitely prepared, but the good thing about our neighborhood is that we have a retirement home in the
grid.
Yeah. So when all that power went down, we were fortunate enough to where we didn't lose any power or any water at that. So,
which actually made us feel really bad because a lot of people didn't have it. We're like, sorry guys.
Is it because you share the same water line and power line with them?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
A couple blocks away.
Oh,
and there's a fire station too. I want to say.
Yeah. So apparently, that car is going a little fast.
That's nothing that's Texas, y'all. Loud exhaust. Yes.
Right on.
So let's talk about while we're here. This is actually our Valentine's Day episode. So I wanted to find a couple in love. I know a lot of couples, but most of them still aren't in love. I figure, you know what? Jeremy, who's not only a friend of the show, she's also a graphic designer. Chris, a friend who I met talking about earlier, Cyclone. We shared a hotel room together. For some reason, he was in my bed instead of hers. I figured, let's get them on.
He's just very warm. He's a very warm man. Can I say?
He looks warm. He looks warm.
He is very cuddly. Like,
so let's talk about this project. Yeah.
Different.
So let's talk about this project, because I know you were talking about earlier. Chris comes from the punk scene. His band Sober Days, is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
I was listening to some of your music before I got here. As I mentioned earlier, it made me want to skateboard, even though I never. Well, I did when I was a kid, but nothing serious. And I was just like, yeah, I want to skateboard. Then I was listening to Jeremy's other project, KLAX, of course, as we know, Danger Cakes. And then had this little project start between you two. What is this, acoustic? What would you call this?
It's definitely
I don't know.
Acoustic punk rock. I mean, there's a lot of...
Same guy.
See, like he got excited. He heard acoustic punk rock and started revving it up.
Yeah, we bring a lot of aspects of our punk rock past into what we play now. And of course, we just have 2 acoustic guitars. So I don't know. It does fall somewhere in the folk Americana, I guess. I really don't even know what to categorize.
But then every time somebody asks us about acoustic, they think it's the sit down, slow acoustic, and it's not that. And then they ask if it's Americana or country. I'm like, no, not really. So it's been hard to book shows. It's been hard to find people doing the same thing. There's a bunch of people in Austin, actually, that are doing similar stuff that are from the punk community. Yeah. So we did a compilation with them. Cool. We have a second one that's coming out soon, next month. So all the songs are totally different, but you can definitely hear the little bite in there of everybody's background. Yeah. It's not the slow, depressing, whatever anybody characterizes acoustic as being.
And you guys recorded this yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some friends in Austin that do some mixing and mastering, but for the most part, we record it all right here at home.
And same with other people in the project. It's everybody just figuring out how to do it, DIY, and giving each other tips and then seeing how it turns out. It's fun. It's like stuff that nobody is able to do in their other harder projects. You know, you can't go to your friends like, I want to do this song about life and, you know, love. And they're like, no.
It's got to rock. It's got to rock.
Yeah, it's got to rock.
Screaming in it.
Yeah.
It's got to make you want to skate.
Yeah, it's got to make you want to skate. So this started off, it was just supposed to be for fun. We moved up to Dallas. The whole thing is that we met in Austin. We played in punk bands and, you know, partied and all that. And we were seriously broke. So we're trying to think of a way to make a living as adults. And we're like, you know what, we should go to a different place that has a little more opportunity. So we're here in Dallas, but not as many musicians. So I was like, hey,
it's very hard. It's a very interesting scene up here in Dallas. And there definitely is a good niche.
Third time.
You know, but we had to kind of make our own because, you know, it's not music capital of the world. You know, it's just another huge city in Central Texas. So
there's
we had
not
to kind of
every night.
Yeah, we had to kind of make do.
This guy's killing podcast.
We'll have to give him credit. We'll have to give him credit to the episode, whatever his name is.
I'm gonna tell him and be like, yeah, just you were on a podcast, dude. Check it out. Got a motor.
Finally, someone listened to me.
That's interesting too, as you mentioned how you go from Dallas from Austin. You mentioned earlier Austin's music capital of the world, shows every night, a lot of action going on, especially for musicians. And now Dallas, I know what. So there's not much of a music scene, but whatever scene there is, what's popular out there? Is it metal? Is it hip hop? Like what scene does kind of crush it out there, if any?
Still trying to figure it out.
There is it's metal,
there's
but
some street punk.
I feel like the street punk scene has gone away. It came and died, and now whatever is left is just kind of new bands, young kids starting up. I know that Denton has a good scene, but as far, you know, Dallas is huge, so, you know, you basically have 2 big cities together. And I know Fort Worth has some good scenes and bands, but as far as Dallas, it's just everybody, all they want to do is work hard, drive fast, and make money. And if you don't,
yeah,
if it's not
we can tell that.
Yeah, wow. Well, when are we moving? And if you play acoustic, of course, you're usually going to play a brewery show, something like that, and then your background noise. And that hurts, man. It really humbles you. because we're used to playing for friends and going to play house parties and doing all this stuff with people and practicing every couple nights. You go to band practices and hang out. And now up here, it's like, oh,
real life.
Cool. You play music. You play covers? I want to hear covers.
Yeah. Cover bands.
Yeah. You want yeah. I'm a sucker for covers. I want to hear 90s covers.
Cover bands.
I just met the one surf band that's in town. I was asking them about the surf scene. They said, this is it. One surf band that's prominent. Mm-hmm. That's really sad. So now I need to start a surf band. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, cool. You got a name?
No, I just came up with the idea right now.
No, just right now.
Cool. So before the episode ends, we got to hear a name. So you're talking about the not so fun part about playing acoustic style in Dallas with this project. You can't hang out with your friends. No live exciting venues. What are some benefits of it? I would think, as far as practice, at least since you guys live together, that probably saves in the driving. You have kids now too, so you don't have to worry about being hungover. I mean, what are some other benefits of working together?
I would have to say the benefits of all of this whole thing has been getting personal with the songs. A lot of the time with playing with bands in the past, you don't really get to really sit down and work on your songs the way that you want to and explore them or modify them. And between Jeremy and I, we've really gotten real intimate with our songs, and they actually mean something now. The first record was for our kid Archer, our first child. And, we're going to do the second one for Leo, our second boy. And, we're not just trying to pump it out, songs. We're trying to actually think of something, that is credible and makes us feel, the way it makes us feel. And at least for me personally, that's what it is. We're recording at home.
Ditto. And we can jump into the studio at any time and add to songs if I think of stuff in the middle of the night. Like, oh, I'm going to go record that tomorrow. And you can mess with it because, you're doing your own thing. But it's been fun to explore the different styles that we can play with acoustic as well.
Sure. And
then the few people, there are some people in town that are doing acoustic, but just hearing what they come up with. And then whenever we have people up here to play with us, just hearing each other's styles and paying attention more than, just going to a band and you're like, cool, this is great. But then acoustic, it's like they're telling you a story and it's intimate, personal, and it's like right there. And
if it sucks, nobody's going to listen. If it's not good, I mean, you're going to tell right away if it's not good. If it's one guy on an acoustic or, a couple playing just an acoustic and some vocals. So the fact that people actually stick around is good.
Yeah. But it's definitely been an adjustment for both of us.
I like how you brought up too, when you bring up acoustic, it's a different vibe where you are telling a story and then you tend to listen more to it, I guess, because there's no distortion, no drums covering things. Yep. I could think of certain songs too that you kind of look for the acoustic version of it for other bands, like say, I can't even, I could think of one, but what I'm saying is basically, even when you have a popular rock song, you turn acoustic, it has a totally different feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how you can change, take a song that is supposed to be a full band sound and change it into something like an acoustic song, break it down to its roots and make it sound good. So it's challenging, but we've gotten real good at it, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. And also, if you mess up, everybody's gonna know. You can't cover that up with a slide or something. You kind of can, but
that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's pretty good too as well, because then it makes you think like, oh shit, I need to have like really good chops and just have everything really good before you go to the stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can't improvise as much. We're trying to figure out our tone and everything live, because we do some solos and stuff in there, which is hard enough on acoustic as it is, but also figuring out like how to hit a pedal and make it sound good and not too much like electric. It's just been a fun challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see those ups and downs.
Yeah.
Too much distortion. Oh, let me step it back.
Yeah, right. So it's been a fun project.
Well, we're talking about how you guys got good at it, right? What do you say we play a track? What do you guys want to hear?
For my song, I pick Fenwick.
Okay, that was a cool track. So explain me. So you mentioned that was all recorded DIY with friends, and you talk about the playing live part of the acoustic. What about recording? You said how you can't make you can hear every mistake. Was it a little bit more brutal in the recording process?
It's definitely, it makes you more of a perfectionist with your playing style because, you can hear whenever you hit a string or something like that, it's all there. So
are you going recording direct or with the microphone or both?
Both.
Oh, okay, cool.
And we've been kind of messing with the setup.
All right, then. So let's talk about how you guys met, not for the band, but just in general, since it's the couple's Valentine's edition. Hopefully you're still in love. Let's talk about how you met. I remember you told me when we were sharing a hotel room when Chris is in bed with me, and he mentioned that you met at a show and he had vomit breath. I mean, maybe you guys can fill me in on the details of that.
That probably wasn't the way that we met, but it definitely did happen at some point. But
I think that's been more than once.
So I'm gonna say it first how I met. So how I remember it, and I actually was explaining this to a friend the other day. So basically, we had some friends that had an apartment right next to Jeremy, and I think I had gotten heard about her, maybe liking me or maybe wanting to talk to me or something. MySpace? It was probably MySpace. It probably could have been MySpace. I really can't even remember. But what I do remember is Joey and Meredith taking me over there to meet. And the first thing that I saw when I opened her apartment door was this big purple, not that, it was a crate. It was a crate amplifier, a 412 half stack amplifier. And I remember looking at it and going,
love, baby.
Going God damn, this chick's got nicer equipment than I do. It was I don't know. I just imagined she was just metal god guitar player chick. And, it ended up being half true. She still does like metal, but definitely I knew I was going to be in love with her right away because I was like, damn, this chick's already got good setup. She already knows, obviously she knows her shit. So she's
all the
stuff
you want.
hot guitar chick. And then, when she came out, she was all I remember she said she was really hungover. She had hit her head night prior, and that was it.
Yeah, that's
how do you remember it,
baby?
Let's hear Jeremy's side of the story.
Wow.
I want to hear Jeremy's side. I want to hear about the 911 call, all that stuff, the restraining order.
One. No.
Never happened.
Allegedly.
So we had mutual friends. We lived in the same neighborhood. He worked at the sandwich shop down the street from my apartment, and I'd ride by there on my bike. We crossed paths a ton of different times. We knew mutual friends, and then we played. The third show I played with the old KLAX drummer Ian. We were in a band called The Corpse Vanishes. It was a horror punk band, and the third show I played with the guys was the first night that I remember meeting him.
Yeah, played a show with Sober Days.
So we played a show. I was like, who dat? What's up? But, that's about it.
I had a big red mohawk.
Oh, yeah, he had a gigantic red mohawk. Yeah. It's kind of hard to miss.
That's how you score
that was the
hot
first
musician chicks. You just have to have a big red mohawk.
This guy looks
and man boobs.
And vomit breath. I forgot vomit breath.
Well, no, we hadn't gotten there yet. That was another.
Oh no, that came later.
No,
there's been multiple.
That was the third date.
We played in punk bands and we were 23, 24 years old. So, I mean, there's gonna be some vomit breath and some red mohawks and all that.
It's funny too how we mentioned how there's vomit breath. Now it's vomit full circle because before we start the interview when we're doing a test run, first thing Jeremy said is I got vomit on me, but it was from a baby.
Yeah,
the baby launched one on me.
Very common occurrence.
Yeah. So I'm now puked on. I'm not the puker anymore because if I always feel like I'm drunk anyways because I'm so tired, so I don't have to drink a lot. But we crossed paths a bunch. We had mutual friends. We played shows together. It wasn't like a one-time meetup. Hey, I want to get with you. It was just like, oh hey.
Yeah, we built our relationship from the very, very beginning up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you met him out. You saw him playing. I want to hear a track from Sober Days.
Sober Days. Yeah. Let's listen to
Live to Shred.
All right. Here's Live to Shred.
Live to Shred. Yes, sir.
I live to shred. Take my money, waste my time. Just don't take my skateboard. Catching the air, the only thing on my mind. Landing big tricks, the only thing in my head. When life shut me down, I find a rail to grind. I break all the rules, and I live to shred. No regrets, no regrets. I live to shred. I got one thing running through my head. I live to shred. Take my money, waste my time. Just don't take my skateboard. Catching big air, the only thing on my mind. Landing big tricks, the only thing in my head. When life shut me down, I found a rail to grind. I break all the rules, and I live to shred. No regrets, no regrets. I live to shred. I live to shred. I live to shred.
Okay, I'm glad Jeremy picked that one because that's the one I was listening to on the way over here. Got me kind of pumped up, with my caffeine and everything. I was happy too because I was actually on time, and you guys lived a shred. I lived a podcast shred.
Yeah,
I don't know.
dude.
That's a bad joke. Brian, you're cutting that out.
Sorry.
No, don't worry about it. So how did that band start? Since we're going on now we're going to the part with your other projects aside from this one.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in San Diego, and my father lived in Puerto Rico, and I never really got to know him. But when I turned 18, I had the opportunity to move there and live with him and get to know him. So I took that chance, and probably about 6 months after living there, I met my drummer. We call him Corn. His name's Alex, but he had this corn patch on his backpack in high school, so everybody just called him Corn. So we still call him Corn. and him and I mean, we would just drive around in his car jamming No Effects. And I think we actually met Peter, our bass player, at a party within probably 3 weeks of me meeting Corn. We met Peter at a party.
Corn the guy, not the band.
Right, Corn the guy. And we just kind of hit it off, man. We had a couple practices and just started playing shows, writing original music in Puerto Rico, playing shows. And we were there for about 2 years, playing consistently before we moved to Austin. And that was in 2003. And so in 2003, we started playing in Austin, and we kind of, picked up a couple gigs with local bands like Crumb Bums and Lower Class Brats, kind of took us under their wing, and we became good friends, still good friends. And we had one guitar player named Philip for about 1.5 years. We cut a record called No Brains, No Headache. And then we did a 3-piece for many, many years after that until we found our other guitar player that we have now, who is also named Alex. And he's been in the band for 10 years now. And
wow, really?
Yeah, he's been 10 years now playing guitar with us. And he lives in LA. Or excuse me, he actually lives in Chicago now. He did live in LA. We probably play about, 2 shows a year now. But we still play, we still hang out, we still write music. And yeah, it's my third hobby, I should say.
Cool. And Jeremy, let's talk about some of your side projects. I know the one I met you at was KLAX, who are friends of the show. That's actually how you joined our show, became part of the team. You've been on a couple of times. Steven's another good friend of the show. Let's talk about KLAX. I don't know if you want to play a track from KLAX. Also, the other project, which music video I enjoyed too, along with Chris's too. That Shred video he's talking about has a really cool music video. I think you make a cameo on it too, Jeremy.
Oh yeah. I'm in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a very fun music video. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Hey, so you remember Ian who played in KLAX?
Yeah.
He did the video. He did a bunch of videos for a bunch of friends' bands. He was like the video photographer guy in the scene. And so he did the one for KLAX as well. So yeah, he pretty much has helped out with a ton of stuff. But I used to play in a band with Ian, that horror punk band. And then that was like a 10-year project. And that's kind of how I got into KLAX, because they needed a fill-in guitar player. And Ian suggested that I fill in just for a few shows to fill in for Logan, who was playing at the time. And then it just turned out I wouldn't leave. And so I just kept playing with them.
You just lingered.
Played.
Was your first show that Cyclone one I saw you at?
The first, I can't believe my memory's fading me so much, but I want to say the first one was in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Like our first big show, the first big festival.
Oh, I see.
We played a few in Austin, but that was like one of the first big ones, and I was so scared. I was terrified. I didn't move. I was just like that, but it was packed. It was a ton of people.
Did you take your own guitar, or that you borrowed one over there?
For that one, I think I probably took my guitar. I usually did take my guitar, and then I had to use other people's amps and their setup. But we played a bunch of shows in Austin. There was starting to be a really good fusion of psychobilly and punk shows that were forming from this guy Matt. That those were taken off, and then they just kind of died out. But we did a ton of shows for a little while that were kind of like, they're getting a lot more traction, and a lot more people were coming out because we were playing with a bunch of like prominent punk bands. And then I want to say there's not really, a bunch of that going on right now. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I miss playing with KLAX. It was, I guess, it's trickier to play now. We're trying to get back together. We're trying to practice, but me living in Dallas, and then Steven's in Austin, and then John's in San Antonio. So all of us have to drive and meet up. John's like an hour and a half away from Steven. So that made it tricky with practice all the time, actually. John always drove up. But now that I'm up here, I'm about 3.5 hours from Austin to where Steven's at. So it's been a little trickier to meet up. But hopefully I'll be playing with KLAX at some point again soon, finishing up recordings with them.
Yeah, that was definitely good chemistry between you guys. That's why it stood out to me when I first saw you with them, because I knew KLAX before when they were called the Ghost Store. I've known Steven for years.
Oh, yeah. I
remember I seen the new lineup. I'm like, wait, who are these people? Because it was a different drummer, a different guitar player. And that's how I remember, like, oh, that's where I met you. And then Ian had, I think I mentioned on the episode when I had you guys on, when I first met Ian, he was telling me he's going to be in the parking lot at 3 a.m. flexing for all the girls out there who want to come see him.
Who was that Cholo guy that was in Ghost Story?
Yeah, he was the bass player.
He was the bass, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. He was from LA.
About him. Was it Pachugo? Is that his name?
I don't remember his name.
I used to play with them a lot when I played in the horror punk band. We'd cross paths and play with them. But that's how I kind of knew of Steven. We weren't buddies or anything, but I knew of him, and I was like, hey, what's up? I love the band.